Hey doing YouTube, it's Will from Will Development, and today I'm talking about the beginning of the World's Strongest Man competition. World's Strongest Man was first televised and incarnated in 1977. And if you watched it today, it would look a little strange. I mean, Strongman has always looked a little strange, but it would look really strange, especially if you compare it to today's Strongman. Where Strongman as a sport has grown, but it still hasn't quite hit the mainstream status that maybe it deserves, or maybe it should have by now. The thing to realize when you're watching this back then is nobody was a professional strongman back then. And it was an interesting sight because you actually had bodybuilders, powerlifters, and football players of all people competing in a strongman competition. And the reason it seems strange is because you would really think the guys who would have the most advantage would either be the powerlifters or maybe even the football players. I mean, the football players aren't going to be able to generate as much force as, say, a powerlifter, but their cardio is going to be a lot better than a powerlifter's. But then you could say a bodybuilder's not going to be able to generate so much force, but they're going to be able to withstand a lot more abuse because that's the training style they used. When I first watched the competition, it was really cool because I was a big fan of Lou Ferrigno and Franco Columbu as bodybuilders, not necessarily as people. And it was really cool to see them competing, and if you ever get the chance, definitely try to check it out somewhere, the 1977 World's Strongest Man, because you'll see a very, very rough moment where Franco Columbu is actually running up a slight incline with a refrigerator on his back. Now, Franco Columbu was 5'4", I think? He's a very short guy, and he was a very world-renowned powerlifter. He actually owned the world deadlift record at one point in time. But he had a bit of a stumble while going up this minor incline, and his foot completely twisted around behind him. It was rough to watch, to say the least, and if you're not paying attention, it'll definitely catch you off guard. But there were other people there too, not just the bodybuilders that got me giddy. There were guys like Bill Kazmaier, who was a world-renowned powerlifter and became an amazing strongman in his own right. The thing about Bill Kazmaier that you need to remember is that he may not have been the strongest man around, but he was definitely the most powerful motherfucker to have ever stepped out there. I can't think of a single competitor who had the raw power that Bill Kazmaier had. He didn't even have technique when that man did log lifts. It was just pure aggression and power, and that was amazing. But even as powerful as Big Billy Kazmaier was, it was still no match for the man who ended up winning the competition that year in the inaugural 1977 World's Strongest Man. Bruce Wilhelm ended up beating Bill Kazmaier that year, something Bill probably didn't really like. But I was okay with old Bill, because you'll hear more about him in the next episode, where I talk about the 80s, where a lot of amazing names came into play. So be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I appreciate you watching. And why don't you go check out some old strongman footage? If you don't, then what's your excuse?